Yeah, that would probably be nice because I mainly use it for that. Yeah. Also, did they Yeah. Also, did they update tags to like remove like some specific game stuff? Because I've been noticing when I put in games, I'm not getting like several like required tags now. That doesn't exist anymore. I'm fine with that. That's like less clutter. Yeah. I wouldn't mind if it just dropped them in there and you can just X them out. Be like, hey, here's some suggested tags for what you're doing. I'm not getting that either. I think they dropped that too. I would. Well, that's weird because it's not doing it for other games either. Maybe. I don't know. Twitch is being weird. Also, it's going to be so weird with this 3-monitor setup because now I'm just like, oh, I guess chat can be a whole monitor now because I don't need it for anything else. This is so weird because like TGS and by extension TGSR are probably like the thing I least need 3 monitors for. Yeah, you probably need 3 monitors for as much as we have to do. I can only imagine how much Smite needs for like Arcade Pit. I know Ty said it's like Smite runs a million things to make Arcade Pit run, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I might want to. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. I've only lucked out because I still have my TV from college, so it's just like, I can just hook this up real easily. Yeah, I lucked into figuring out how to hook this up, and I'm like, I'll take it. Because I didn't realize Windows 10 could do that. Yeah. Hmm. Yep. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for August 24th, 2019, with your host, Peacemaker2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi. I actually remembered to unmute our mics tonight.
I'll be honest, that Geo finale is meh.
Like in your opinion, better or worse than any finale you've watched so far?
It's down towards the bottom because it feels like we lack consequences coming out of the show. Like, even if, like, spoilers for Geo, if you've not watched the episode yet, because I might as well talk about it, because I don't know, I could save it for talking about tomorrow, but meh.
I mean, I haven't caught up on Geo, but I don't really care about getting spoiled on it.
Like, I guess I'll recap the episode for your convenience. So, Tsukiyomi has just transformed going into the episode. And then she freezes time and then untransforms and decides to side with Schwartz. Which I assume was a part of the plan, but no one acts like that's a part of the plan, so I don't fucking know.
So she pulls a Tsukasa.
Yes.
Okay.
She pulls another character along the way, but we'll get there. So, we essentially get a night of no one being murdered as they discuss what the fuck's going on, and then the next day they're dealing with monsters and stuff. And oh, by the way, Schwartz now has access to villains besides that are not writers technically. Like, he has a vault that is just sucking things up into a black hole in not black hole form. So there's that.
Ugh.
And Nagavazewa's here killing people. Gemdeus is here. Like, Gemdeus, not like Chronos or anything like that. No, the Gemdeus suit that showed up for like 2 episodes of X8, I think. I forgot what else, but they're just destroying shit. And like, Gates and Waz and Tsukasa and Kaito trying to do stuff, but Sogo's having like one last meal with his uncle. And then, guess what the uncle pulled out that he's been working on for like all night?
What?
He fixed the ride watches.
I thought they were alluding to him doing that when he kept watching all of them break, and you could kind of tell he was like, I want to fix.
I know, but I'm like, how?
The same how that Sogo magically obtains them. That is the least questionable thing this show has done.
I know, I'm just he broke them randomly, and now they're fixed. So Sogo, he shows up to, or no, the others are taking on the monsters, and they're about to beat some monsters. Well, Tsukiyomi frees his time and tells them to give it up because it's all over. And then Schwartz shows up and blasts them. But then a bunch of riders appear from portals because Sogo, because all the ride watches are fixed, has access to Grand Geo again. So he goes Grand Geo. And him and Schwartz do a one-on-one fight for a little bit. That Sogo loses. Because of course he does. Even with the help of other riders he summoned, a couple of which are in final forms. Nope. Done. Sogo.
Wait. He can do that?
Yeah, Sogo can summon any rider in any form.
But had he done that before now?
Yes. He did it in the debut episode. Or the debut episode of Grand Geo. He did it in Grand Geo. It's probably not the most obvious thing, but I noticed he did summon riders from other... He summoned Genius in the debut episode. For, like, the big finisher.
I don't remember that, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he can summon whatever the fuck he wants, essentially.
I thought he was still limited to base forms. I didn't... That's... Okay.
Yeah, Grand Geo is literally giving Sogo the toy box that's labeled Rider. And they've barely used it.
And
to my disappointment.
To that, I also have to say, then why did we make it a point for him to obtain half of the ride watches in the year that... Well, hold on. In the timeline spot where it should have been early show. Because half the time the years were not lining up anyhow, so ignoring that. Like, I don't get that. Why did we make it a point for the ride watches to be base form if Grand Geo can just say, screw it, they all do/don't exist?
It's whatever. Anyway, so Sogo's beaten. Schwartz is about to extremely murder him until Gates takes the shot for him in Revive and is blown through a wall. And after a last speech, he dies, which royally pisses off Sogo. And then the GQ driver he's wearing turns into the Oma GQ driver, and he goes Oma form. Well, like Oma Geo from the series, not Oma form from the movie. For clarity. I will admit, the henshin for Oma Geo is pretty cool. I only wish the show supported it better. So Sogo's done that. Schwartz tries to absorb the power off of it, and Sogo says, no, fuck off. But before this, he actually demands Waz give him an EY speech.
Yeah.
Form. He's just like, Waz, do your thing. Excuse me? Waz, do your thing. He's like, oh, okay. It's like, I love that distinction. It feels like this is the one time Sogo asked for this. So I believe at this point, Sogo proceeds to obliterate all of the villains Schwartz has summoned with one shot each. Like, just straight up obliterates them. Because Sogo gives no fucks. Because he's also absorbed all the ride watches, including ones we have never seen him get in the series, like Eternal and Cross Magma, and a bunch of other ride watches that I know exist in toy form, but have never been shown in show.
And you know, I feel like that's a problem.
Yep.
Especially seeing as how we had the cross ride watch.
Yep. trauma that he absorbs that I spotted.
Yeah, like I said, the problem.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, we don't see the uncle handing out the rest of the ride watches that were on the tower, because the other ride watches were on the tower throughout the series, besides the main rider ones. But we don't see them get fixed or break. Anyway, so after Sogo beats all of them, Schwartz is very upset about this and gets stabbed in the back by Tsukiyomi, who reveals that this was her plan all along, and then she gets summarily kicked and killed by Schwartz. So Tsukiyomi doing a bang-up job here on her plan. So this upsets Sogo even further. He does a rider kick and obliterates Schwartz. So now he's dead. And along with him being dead, all of the monsters and stuff are dead as well. But this has kind of left them alone. So it's just Sogo and Waz. And Sogo, in a dialogue with Omagio from the future, I guess decides that, fuck it, we're hitting the reset button. So he essentially resets time to, I guess, the beginning of the series, except now there is no GQ drivers, there is no Omagio, there is none of that bullshit. And Gates and Tsukiyomi are friends of his at school, and they're going to the school. And so are Aura and Nuru, because I guess they deserve redemption. For something they did in the series. Not sure what they did in the series that deserve redemption in being saved, but okay, they're here. They're also friends of Sogo and Gates and Tsukiyomi, and also Waz is still here, and he remembers everything, and he's chronicling it in a new book now. And that's it. Like that's it. We end the show. We end the show on that note. I assume you have. Also, just as a note, also as Soko in his resetting of timeline has reseparated the worlds all into their like 20 different versions, so all the shows are back separated again.
That no. Nope. Nope.
Also, the V Cinema I was telling you about the other day, that is super confirmed, and it will take place post-series as we follow White Waz returning, and I guess Gates getting Gates Majesty Ride Watch for some reason. Also, Kaito's here, and he's going to the school as well for some reason. I don't know why.
But nope to that whole splitting all of them back. For so many reasons. Like everything up to Decade, sure. Because I don't think we actually ever had a confirmation that they were all one, did we?
Kuga and Agito, like at the start of Agito, were
right.
maybe supposed to be the same world, but they kind of mucked up a bit of timeline stuff, so they decided, no, they're their own separate worlds now, and from there they kind of kept them all separate until Decade decided to throw them. Yeah, Decade is when they decided, fuck it, they're all together now. And then from then on, every show has been more or less in the same world until we got to Build. Which Build's entire finale is meant for it to get back into the main world, as confirmed by the producer of Build.
But you know what's also weird? Granted, this is taken in a movie that is so not in continuity, but we did kind of see in the Build X8 movie the whole house, at least I think it was Gaim was also in the Build world.
Yeah.
I wanted to say there was another one too, but I can't swear to that.
I think it was just Build.
So,
or it was just Gaim. Gaim just showed up in the build one.
So,
for some weird reason.
Did he intentionally do that and he crossed over, or was that a case of that always was the case?
I think in some, like, pre-release material, it said that Gaim can cross dimensions, so he might have oopsed and crossed dimensions on accident.
Or he might have hopped over to be the first one to be like, hey, why is this coming to mine?
Yeah.
Okay,
I feel like
I could see that then.
I feel like something somewhere said that Gaim was crossing dimensions in his appearance. In some pre-release material.
I feel like I'm fine with that. Granted, I'm wanting to say the Skywall wouldn't have existed long enough to have interacted with Gaim, would it?
No, I don't remember the specific timeline for the Skywall, so I would not be able to say otherwise.
I don't think it did. So, I mean, in theory, they both could have coexisted.
Yeah.
It was the whole... I'm wanting to say it was Drive we had the biggest problem with. Because it tried to place the Roid needs in a time that we should have saw them before Drive. Had that been the case. Yeah. And I think that was the one we had the problem with.
Also, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna look that up now that I'm thinking about it, because I can't remember.
I am a killer, and I always it changes you for
okay.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
A part of my diet since day one. What is worth killing for, you might ask? I wouldn't know, because I never had any other choice. I have always followed orders. I'm taking another man's life. All I can say is...
Alright, I'm back.
By the way, we technically are wrong. Build would have to consist of the universe entirely on its own.
Okay.
Otherwise, the Skywall would have had to existed, honestly, in every show from Double onward.
Okay.
It technically was in 07 when it was kind of sprung.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, that I figured I'd look it up, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, yep.
But yeah, that's the Geo finale, and like as you were asking me, like it's on the lower end because like it feels like there's no consequences coming out of this, because like Build's finale does the same thing, but at least there are consequences for Sento's actions. Granted, New World kind of reverses those consequences for some of the cast, and also brings back a vault for like no fucking reason. I hate that. I hate that we just can't have a vault be dead.
Well, if we go off of pure what it should have... Well, if we go purely off of how the show ended, then, I mean, it works.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes the way that they do their continuity, you have to pick and choose what material outside of the show you want to count in it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, the Build and Xaid crossover that does the exact same thing that the end of Build does. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only other show that does any type of like reset ending like this is Ryuki. But even Ryuki still has consequences coming out of the reset because we lose a supporting cast member because of the actions, because of their sacrifice to reset everything back to normal. And also we lose the relationships and stuff we've built over the course of the series, which is kind of sad, but maybe things are for the better because of it. Granted, Writer Time Ryuki decides to toss all that out the fucking window. Because they want to, like...
Getting back to what I just said.
Yeah, it decides to go, oh, we fixed everyone. Nope, fuck that. And it's just like, oh my... But yeah, no, this is a pretty bad ending. And I've seen someone be like, oh, people are saying it's bad because it's like Ryuki and Bill, where I'm like, well, no, context of those endings is important. Because, yeah, all three pulled a reset, but Gio's the only one with zero consequences coming out of the reset.
Yeah.
Just everything's been fixed, everyone's okay, we fixed everything, it's fine.
But, okay, herein lies the other problem. Now we're gonna have to rely on either A, the crossover movie that we know will be coming, or
yes,
B, some kind of outside of the main series story that is told post-series in order to give Sogo his powers back.
Yeah. Assuming he doesn't have his powers. I'm not sure how much Sogo is aware of his changing of the timeline. That requires context from the subs. As far as I understand, at least Waz knows things have been changed. And it's more or less just going to be acting as like an outside observer from here on out.
If the Jiku driver no longer exists, does he actually have a way to tap into that power?
I don't know.
I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's one of those... I feel like that's the downside too. At least with the end of Build, we're at least left with the assumption that both of them could still transform.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever stated that they can, but it's at least presented as they can. So it's a case of, okay, well, they can still be used in material post-series, and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sogo, it's like, okay...
Yeah, it's a wet fart of an ending where it's just like, okay, you have Sogo tap into this dark power that is Omagio, and he just kind of lets go of it. Like, I feel like this is trying to parallel the end of Kuga, because Godai does the same thing in the end of Kuga, where he taps into Ultimate, which is, or he becomes Ultimate form, which is tapping into like some really like, this could drive him insane if he's not super careful with this and turn him into a monster. And an unstoppable monster on top of that. But he has to in order to beat the villain. But with Kuga, the entire episode built to that moment and built to that fight. There's a reason Ultimate is only in the last episode of Kuga. Because they build to it. Because Kuga Ultimate is very much this thing hanging over like the latter half of the series, and it's treated as, this is a bad thing. This could be a very bad thing. But Godai has no choice but to do it. Unlike here, where I'm like, oh, we just kind of do this now because Sogo got upset. And also because Schwartz is just that strong where no one can beat him except Omagio, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't have the same impact and same feel as like anything else, as like other stuff that we've gotten from Ryder. So that's why I say RRR Infinity was going to ask people like this next week your 4-word summation of your thoughts on Geo, just for simplicity. And I was going to say inconsistent, boring, and bad. Like, that sums up my thoughts on Geo. It's just, it is inconsistent as hell, it is boring at points, and it is just bad at other points as well. Like, Geo very rarely does something right. And those moments are so...
when it does do something right, it still finds a way to destroy that in the next episode, is what's bad.
Yeah. God, this show just sucks. It just really sucks. But yeah, that's the end of Geo, folks. It's all over. 01 is next week. God, I hope it starts good. I need good Ryder. I want good Ryder. Like, everything from 01 feels like, oh, we're hitting all the right points. We're hitting all the right things for Ryder, but we'll have to wait for the episode to come.
At least on board for the first half, because you said it was a lot of the X8 crew.
Yep.
It's like, we'll see what happens from there.
Mm-hmm.
Because while X8 wasn't one of the best ones here recently, it wasn't one of the worst ones either, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, fine. Let's see.
And just for reference, my quick thoughts coming out of it, I tweeted, it is a video of Shawn Michaels laughing his ass off. Because, yeah, that's how I felt about that finale, was just laughing. Of like, yep, they did it. They hit the reset button, because it's like, we have no other way of like getting out of this finale. Fuck it, reset. Which feels lazy, to be honest.
Well, you know, the other problem I kind of have with that, and it boils down to how this started too, really. If you think about it, the build arc, we ignored the fact of the end of build.
Yeah.
We straight up ignored it. And then this show turned right around and did pretty much the exact same thing.
Yep.
I mean, did the writers even know anything about build? Or were they just winging it?
I feel like they got the broad strokes of build, because I feel like Sogo's arc is meant to be similar to Sento's in some respects, of trying to like be a true king instead of this false king that he's being presented as with Omageo, much like how Sento is trying to be a real hero and a real rider instead of a false one that Stark has made him for his own plans. But it doesn't work, because the show doesn't focus on that. Because I was thinking about it the other day, like, we had an entire fight preceded by Sento breaking down, like his way of trying to be a hero, and, like, trying to be better than the person he was before. And Genius is entirely about him accepting who he was before, and accepting himself, and finding the balance between the two of them.
Well, and it also kind of came from us seeing and truthfully it actually was too, the internal battle with him.
Yeah.
Something Sogo's never had.
Yeah, Sogo's...
Gates and Tsukiyomi present to him that he's this evil overlord, and he's like, that's not me, I'm nice. It's like,
yeah, we... we never feel that struggle with Omagio, and it probably doesn't help that like Omagio is so not a part of the show most of the time.
I feel like that's intentional.
Which feels really boring. Because that is the most interesting thing about the show is Omagio, and he is the least like put on or least shown aspect of the show. I don't know how you do that.
I honestly feel like the show had a couple of shifts in the writing department.
Mm-hmm.
Because you look, as far as the another writers go, we had that shift with another Geo. I'm wondering if all the way up to that point, the in-game idea was to try to make Schwartz into the main villain, aka Omagio. But they failed to do that at that point, therefore they shifted the idea. I don't think it was necessarily different writer ideas, it was just a case of they kind of went that far, looked back and was like, well, crap, we can't really rewrite that, so let's just shift attention and maybe people won't notice.
Yeah. I almost feel like the show, like I've said before, the show kind of soft rebooted itself after another Geo. I am almost wondering if, like, we got half of the show after that point. Because I feel like Schwartz should be a mid-series villain. Like, as personally as he is tied to Sogo's character, that's his past, not his future. And we only ever solve the past part, not the future part. We just kind of hand wave away the future part of himself.
I don't know. I could see Schwartz working as a late villain if we made Aura and Uru more mid-tier villains, and we didn't do that either.
Yeah, they're kind of ignored and just tossed off the side when we're done with them.
Like, in all seriousness, I could see them being Geo 2 and Grand Geo, respectfully, kind of deal. And then Schwartz be final villain. I could have saw something like that.
Yeah. Instead,
we had this whole disintegration of the villain, quote-unquote, group.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, they didn't even act like a group either?
No, they were this disconnected Sentai group of villains.
Yeah.
Because they act like Sentai villains. Which makes them even less interesting as as Schwartz is the main bad guy, because he does nothing for most of the series.
I mean, like I said, I could have saw them doing it that way with them, but when we had the whole disintegration deal, that should have been something we should have had happen around Geo 2, with maybe Schwartz just being the final straw and getting rid of him at that point.
Yeah.
And then move from there. Like, if we really wanted to pad it out, sure, space it out, make him final villain, and then throw the other two to the form debuts. But,
I'm just glad we're moving on. I'm just glad we're done. We're done with Geo. We're moving on. I don't give two shits about the V Cinema, because guess when it comes out?
When?
I believe it's dated for April of next year.
Oh, wow.
So we're like 6 months out from it, and I'm like, I don't care.
So we're pretty much a year out from being able to get it subbed.
Yeah. Like, it being that far out, I'm like, oh, I don't care. I so don't care about Gates. About White Waz coming back. Gates getting his like an upgraded form, and that will probably be a repaint of the Oma form from the movie.
Boy.
Like I don't care. I'm done with Geo. I'm done. I am done. And I have seen the entire series, so I don't want people to argue, to bark at me, being like, "Oh, you didn't watch the show." No, I watched the show. I watched every goddamn episode of this fucking bullshit show. I was on this ride, and the ride sucked.
Yeah.
So,
and
better
what's bad
news.
is I kept trying to give it a shot and kept trying to give it a shot, and it just kept saying no.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyhow.
Better stuff. Tommy, what have you been playing these last couple weeks?
Honestly, not really much outside of what we've streamed.
Three Houses continues to be really good for me, but I found out that one of the two routes I have access to right now, because just for reference, the route I'm on splits in two, unlike the other two routes, which are one route. One of them is the shortest route of the game by like 4 chapters or so. 4 or 5 chapters. Yeah, it is a distinct like lack of chapters, which makes kind of sense in context, but I don't know if we're going to end up on that route or the other route, which I think is the longer of the 4 routes. Let me check that real quick. If I can type. I cannot type.
I never can type. I always have to try it again.
Yeah. No, it is the second longest by a chapter. The other 2 routes that I can't have access to, because they are for reference, they are the Blue Lion and the Golden Deer routes. They are like 1 more chapter each than this one. Which isn't bad, mind you. Yeah, it's just weird that like this route is like short so many chapters, but I think it makes sense in context, kind of. I don't know. I might have to go down the route and see. I know things about where we're going, and yeah. Anyway, in other news, I got my mini plot in for Neptune and Dino Migo, the 6-Ranger mech and the movie mech for Ryu Solgar, and I made a dumb, and I tweeted it on Twitter. I'm going to give you the image in chat, just for quick reference. That is me trying to combine Dino Migo, which is a repaint of Tier Migo, so there's not really any way to combine the two of them. So you pretty much just have to swap out what main body you want, and then the rest of them can split apart and be put together. So this is me attempting to make a 7 mech combination.
Oh,
I dub it Kenshiryo Asura. Yes, it has 4 arms. I don't know what to do with Dino Migo's swords, because they're just a little peg, and they only plug into Dino Migo's hands. They cannot plug into the Neptune's hands for some stupid reason. The Neptune's hands the holes in Neptune's hands are larger. But yeah, that is the best I could do. I can only not put the sword somewhere. Everything else can fit somewhere. And yes, he has 3 swords and a shield. It's dumb. I hate that Neptune's head, which, if you look way back in the back, you see the bit of yellow past the green on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of Neptune's head, which is a block, and then Neptune's like crocodile head that is just one piece. You cannot split that up anymore. It's the biggest piece in this entire like combination, and it's impossible to try to figure out where the fuck to put this goddamn thing. I hate it. But I tried to put it to where like all the heads are like important in somewhere, and that's hard. And also, I didn't cheat and use the extension bits that you get with the set as well, because you get like a male plug, and then you get a female plug to like convert a port, like a plug to a port or a port to a plug. But I didn't cheat and use them. So, I did this because I wanted to, and also because Japanime, he did a 7-mech combination and as well, and most of his bits ended up being a backpack, which I think is cowardly. Cowardly, I say. You do not get to just put everything on the back as a backpack and just stack it all together. No, you make dumb Sentai mech combinations like you are meant to, like this, because this kind of works actually, for the most part.
Which is funny.
Yep. But we have, I think, 3 more mechs coming. We have the 2 raptors that form in the Cosmos Raptor that debuted this past week. We have another one like it that gives, I think, boxing gloves for the mech, because it's a Parasagon. And then we have a egg that turns into a pterodactyl that I think is the final mech release for Ryu Soldier. So we can make a 10 mech combination by the end. And yes, I will try to make a 10 mech combination. I won't make 11 because I don't know how to make Tiramigo and his clone work together, because there's no ports or plugs that can work with them. Like, honestly, I don't think either of them have any plugs at all. I think they're all ports. Yeah, the only real ports on them are if you take bits off and that's it. Otherwise, it's all... Well, those are plugs. The rest of it is ports. So it's like, I don't know how to do this. And the only parts that split off from either of those is like the head and the tail. And that's it. And that leaves the rest of the body just kind of as is. So, ugh. I'd have to get really creative for that. Other than that, I've been playing Tetris 99 for the Fire Emblem event. I did 3 arena matches for Fortnite for the challenge.
I haven't even hopped on Fortnite for the challenges this week.
It's just 3 arena matches. I don't think Outlast Opponent, like, you get Outlast Opponent ticks in arena. For some weird reason.
Well, that's probably pretty good, I guess.
Yeah. Like, you get ticks for the rest of the challenges, but like any Outlast Opponent stuff, no, I don't think, unless I just derped and didn't think they were tracking. Granted, I don't pay attention to those numbers because it's all for like previous skins. But that's really it. I'm wanting to play more Yakuza 0, and like the business and the cabaret minigames I've shown on screen, or I have had to do as the main story. I want to do more of those minigames because I like them, but I can't at the moment until after next week. So that's it. Shall we talk news then?
I guess we shall.
All right then. Ahead of when I thought it would be, because I thought this was coming out next week from what they were saying, but no. During Gamescom, actually at the start of Gamescom, we got the Avengers footage officially released. So just about 18, I think a little over 18 minutes of footage from the first level of the game that has been showcased at Comic-Con. I think this is the Comic-Con footage, or at least the Comic-Con build, because it looks better than what I've read and heard about the E3 build, because this looks like it's running better. But yeah, you can probably play that in the background. So it's what we kind of expected to see. There's nothing really new here. And honestly, I don't know. I'm still like concerned about this game. Like, I know some people have complained about the costumes, but I think the costumes are less bad and more just boring. Like, you can't really do anything new with Hulk, because Hulk is a green monster with pants. You're not doing anything spectacular there. Tony looks like an Iron Man suit. Or Tony's Iron Man suit is an Iron Man suit. Again, nothing new there. Cap's, I think, might be the worst one, because I don't like how... Like, he just grabbed some tactical gear and just put red, white, and blue on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, Cap, come on, dress up a little bit more. Like, you look like you just grabbed that out of a shield locker and just... Widow looks Black Widow. But again, I don't think you can really do anything new and different with her. Like, the MCU has tried and gave her, like, more accents and more, like, detailing to her costume, but at the end of the day, there's not really anything different for Black Widow there. I think the worst costume here is actually Taskmaster's costume from the end of the gameplay. I don't know the time code for it, but you might can skip to it. You're right. And you got the hood a little bit, but like the rest of it looks like standard tactical gear, like standard just regular tactical gear. Oh, come on. Skimming through the footage at a moment. How you liking the footage?
I'd like it more if my computer wasn't trying to lock up.
Uh-oh. Oh no. I mean, like, other than that, like, the Game Informer article, which was originally used for this, not the GameSpot one, had impressions on it because they got to play through the demo. And some were better than others in terms of heroes. One weird thing is if you're Iron Man and you're flying, if you're shot, you fall back down to the ground and have to re-fly back up if you want to shoot, which I don't like. Because it sounded like it was one shot and you're down instead of like multiple shots, and I'm like, yeah. Thor looks fine if kind of